All right, guys, here we go. We're ready to kick off the Sunday night 70 centimeter sideband net, which has quickly morphed into the Sunday night sideband UHF VHF net. So we're going to try 70 centimeters and 2 meters. We're going to start on 446.125 and then move over to 146.400. Sideband is a very efficient use of radiated power off your antenna, and we'll see how that works for us. Maybe a little noisier than the normal FM transmission that we usually use on UHF and VHF, but when it comes to, push comes to shove and you want to make an effective contact, sideband is certainly a good way to make sure your signal gets through. All right, clock's flipped over to 8 o'clock and it's time for me to key up. Good evening, one and all. This is Victor Alpha 3, India Mike Whiskey, coming to you from West Hamilton Mountain, and it's time for the Sunday sideband UHF VHF net. We used to use that well-coined phrase, the Sunday night 70 centimeter sideband net, but it's not only 70 centimeters anymore, it's 70 centimeters and 2 meters. Hello, Wade, and hello, Chuck, and Guy, and everybody else that's thrown their comments in there, waving a hand to Larry as well. All right, so we are streaming this net on YouTube. Just put in my call sign VA3IMW in the YouTube search box and scroll down to that big red sticker that says live. Click on that, and that's where you'll find us. All right, throwing it wide open for anybody anywhere. Come on in and check in with your call sign.
VA3 DCF.
Okay, we've got 3 there. So Emnon, good signal starting off the group. So we've got Emnon, Dave, and Wade. We'll take them in that order. Emnon, good signal propagation tonight. Go ahead.
Yes, I agree, because coming this way will give me a good signal as well as 5. So maybe the damp weather is helping conditions a little bit, but yeah. I have hardly any noise at all. It's not even registering on the S meter. So low noise and good signal. Back to you, Mac, V3 and GF.
All right. Sounds like our 1S unit discrimination has gone to 2. I've got you with an S3, but great audio, and I would expect that some of our other stations will have heard you as well. Anyways, you're going to stick around for us to move over to 2 meters and try it again?
Yes, could you remind me of that frequency? My memory is good, but it's very short.
Yeah, I have to remind myself. I actually had to look it up on the YouTube video to figure out where we were last week. It is 146.400, 146.400, and that's where we're going to be once we finish up with our check-ins here on 70 centimeters.
Okay, Mac, yeah, I'll be there. The E3 edges.
All righty, and moving on to Dave, VA3 DCS. Go ahead.
Oh, good evening, Mac, and Amnon, which I could turn my volume way up and I could tell somebody was there, but I couldn't make it out, so I could hear it really well on the stream. Yep, finished up our FaceTime call earlier and got down here, got the radio on, let it warm up a bit.
Warming up is good, right on frequency. Only 20 over S9 tonight. Did you dial the power back?
No, the power's there. Not sure why. Maybe it's all the dampness holding the radio waves down.
Yeah, I guess that was kind of a trick question. Typically, you give me 20 over, peaking 30. So, yeah, conditions are what they are. So, whether it has something to do with atmospheric dampness or who knows what, but that's okay. All right, very good. Let's bring in Wade, VA3 NCA.
VA3IMW VA3NCA. Good evening, Mac, and good evening, everybody on net. Missed the earlier net, but I did catch you on the replay on YouTube. That was a nice feature to have. We had a late dinner tonight, so I was busy that, otherwise engaged, but had to make sure I was down here in time for the 8 o'clock UHF VHF Net. Not much reading today, so, well, I guess that's not exactly true. I did get to see Bill today, dropped his cable off, so hopefully he'll be able to power up that new radio, the damn radio that he's got, and get out there, so that was fun. Other than that, nothing else. This is the first time I've been on the radio today. Anyways, I'll send it back to you. I couldn't pick up Amnon, but I just hear him on the YouTubes there. Heard Dave shouting very loud across the valley, and you're coming in the usual, peaking at about an S5, but a little lower normally, but when you're peaking, you're up to 5. So thanks again there, Mac, and I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, and of course, what did Kim Mitchell say? Something about all that peaking begets more peaking. So good job there. Signal not so good on the meter today, maybe an S2, but audio still punching through. I've said it quite often on sideband. Really doesn't matter what the meter says. If the audio comes through clearly and you're intelligible, then that's a good contact. So that's really the litmus test of sideband communications. So very good. Thanks for your check-in tonight, and hope you're sticking around for 2 meters. This is Victor Alpha 3 India Mike Whiskey. Still want to make sure we are recognizing everybody who has checked in on YouTube. Charles and Guy, and I think we've covered everybody else. Any other RF check-ins that want to get in here before we move to 2 meters?
Victor Alpha 3, Bravo Tango. Victor Alpha 3, Juliet Zulu.
Okay, there's 3 more heard from, and there's the glory of sideband. So we got Albert, and we've got Thomas, and we have Charles. Charles and Thomas at the same time. So very good. And there's my 30 over signal there, Albert. Good job.
Good evening, Mac. Yeah, I got you here about 35 plus. I got the preamp on, so everybody's coming in here pretty good. You're 35 plus. Amnon's at, no signal on him, but I can hear him in there, no problem. Dave, I got him at 30. Wade at 4. Yeah. So, yeah, other than that, didn't do too much radio this weekend. Plus the weather was crappy, too. So, but anyways. Not much else to report on my end. We'll hand it back over to you. VA3VT.
Yes. Weather crappy, but could have been much worse. I was also reminding everybody on the previous net that we should feel very fortunate that we didn't get lambasted with the ice storms that they were previously forecasting. It was certainly nice to see that we only got rain and fog, and that was about it. So thankfully, no slippery surfaces, and hoping that holds up for tomorrow. Thanks much, Albert, and let's bring in Thomas next. VE3. You'll fill in the rest, I'm sure.
My goodness.
remember me. I guess it's been so long since I've been on the radio. Shame on me. Victor Echo 3, Charlie Echo Uniform. VA3IMW, good evening, Mac, and everybody else on the net here. I just turned the radio on about 5 minutes ago, so it hasn't warmed up yet, so wanted to make sure I checked in and say hello and get the cobwebs off the radio here. So, everything's doing good at this end there, Mac, and I've been doing a lot of stuff outside of the house and not inside, and so I thought, well, but I better check in tonight to make sure everybody knows that it still exists.
Well, certainly, when you go to the retirement mode, everybody wants to make sure that you're still on the top of the soil. Anyways, yes, VE3CEU. Just had the little brain distraction there for a couple of seconds. Certainly appreciate your check-in and glad to see that you're making good use of your time, getting outdoors, and I guess your bike season is approaching swiftly. So all of the preparations for cycling, what would they say? Pedaling your ass around town? Anyways, a guy at work has been talking to me about what he's spending on his bicycle in order to get it ready for his season. And I'm thinking that ham radio is much cheaper hobby than this bicycling thing. Back to you, Thomas.
I hear what you're saying there, Mac. There was actually 2 days, one last week, and there was 1 day last week, which is a Thursday. It got up to 10 degrees, and I keep a log of how much riding I do, and I got 51 kilometers so far of riding. I know doesn't sound like a lot, but within 3 days, just getting back into the swing of things, and so it's something I'm definitely enjoying, and of course cleaning the basement out and stuff like that, and doing other things and doing like doing the social things outside with the radio club in Burlington, going to some of their meetings and stuff like that, and it's lots of stuff to do. So, anyways, I won't tie up the net here. Mac, I got you tonight as an F6 tonight. It's a pretty good signal tonight, and I'm just a little bit off the 446 frequency, but in order to get you in clear as the bell there and fine tuning. So, okay, you have yourself a good evening there, Mac, and thanks for doing it. Have yourself a good evening. VE3CEU.
All right, Thomas. Well, don't go too far away. Because once we finish with these check-ins, we're going to move down to 2 meters on 146.400 and test our radio signals over there as well. You're just shy of an S5 across to me tonight, and doing a fine job across the lake. Let's bring in Charles, VA3CJZ.
Hey, good evening there, Mac, and Tom, and everyone else. Mac, I thought there was no antenna outside because I've got no signal on you. That's the first. And AJF, I had low audio. The signals must be super high tonight. Dave wins a big slice of pie. He can pick what kind. He gets 25 to 30 over. NCF, the audio was okay, readable, no signal. And Mac, you're no signal, readable audio. Albert was an S8, peaking S8 tonight. And Tom had good audio, but no signal. And so that's my signal report. And I noticed you got a SWR of over 1.5 there going when you transmit. So I don't know. That's the first time having no signal on you there, Mac. It'll be interesting to see what 2 meters gives us.
Alrighty. Actually, what you're seeing on the screen is not SWR. SWR is flat. What you're seeing on the ID scale is power. So it gives you an indication that we're maxing out at 8 amps with a full 35 watt output from the ICOM 7100. So the scale in between the compressor and the ID SWR is still flat. I'm going to say that this discombobulation of signals between our stations is simply atmospheric conditions. I can hear you loud and clear. You're a little bit better than an S5, but remember we've talked about the disc effect of these high gain antennas. So sorry to say that most of my stuff's going over your head.
Well, that wouldn't be the first time there, Mac, but that's okay. All right, very good then. I'll let you see if there's anyone else.
Chuck, you got an S3 in Burlington here.
Oh, thanks, Tom.
All right. And with that, we'll take a quick standby to see if there's anybody else that wants to check in with us on 70 centimeters before we move to 2 meters. This is Victor Alpha 3, India Mike Whiskey with the Sunday night UHF VHF sideband net. All right, nothing heard there. So at this point in time, let's QSY to 146,400, 146.400, and we'll see. Well, have to make sure the frequency's clear once we get there. So VA3IMW QSY.
VA3DCS QSY.
Well, look at that. We have an S7 noise floor. Let's see how this goes. Victor Alpha 3, India Mike Whiskey, is this frequency in use? Victor Alpha 3, India Mike Whiskey, is this frequency in use? Nothing heard. All right, let's go back to the top of the stack. And let's see who's joined us here on 2 meters. Victor Alpha 3, India Mike Whiskey, with the Sunday night UHF VHF net here on sideband. Come on. Oh, now I see a problem. Well, there we go. We are on sideband. Is this frequency in use? Well, I checked on FM and everything's clear. So Victor Alpha 3, India Mike Whiskey, standing by for our Sunday night 70 centimeter and 2 meter sideband net trials. I'll take anybody, not necessarily in order. Come on in and let me know you're here.
VA3 BT.
VA3DCS.
All right, we'll take them in that order. Wade, Albert, and Dave, and we'll see what happens with the rest. VA3NCA, you're top of the list.
VA3IMW, VA3NCA, thanks, Mac. We made it down here to 2 meters. Yeah, signals are stronger. I think I saw you, the noise floor is higher too. I've got about an S9 noise floor on 2 meters for some reason as of the last couple of weeks. Noticed it the first time with Chuck's net there, A-Rig. And it persists, so I'm going to have to figure out what that's all about. But you are getting up over top of it, nice and clear, with a full S9 signal to my station. So that is good. I had to increase the filter a little bit. There seems to be some sort of a tone that's coming in with it. I don't know if that's part of the noise or if it's somebody in adjacent frequency, but we are fully readable and getting over it. Back to you.
Yep, QSL and some noise floor here as well. Actually, on the FM side, when I came down here, I saw greater than an S7 noise floor. On the sideband, it seems to be about 5. So you're getting over that without a problem. And your home built antenna up in the rafters in the garage is doing a fine job here. S9, so exemplary performance on 2 meters. All right, let's bounce over and say hello again to Albert.
Yep, a little bit of noise here on this one. So still not bad though. Everyone's signals definitely come up. You're Mac, you're like 40 plus there. So we had Wade. So on the other one, Wade was 4. On this one, he's up at 10, a solid 10. So yeah, we'll let you pick up the rest if they're in there. VA3VT.
Okay, very good. And why did I forget who's number 3? Number 3, come on in.
Good evening, Mac. VA3DCS here. Yep, noise floor is only around an S7 here. But you're up to peaking at about a 30 over. Albert's up at a 30 over, but a little bit more constant than yours was. And Wade, of course, he's touching just shy of the 60 here.
Oh, so Wade is your Albert. Your Wade is my Albert. How does that work? Anyways, yeah. So good job. So obviously, when the peak hits the peak, that's where the power is the strongest. I'm pretty sure Albert's running one of those 9700s, so he's got a little bit more juice. So very good. All right, let's see if Amnon followed us over here. VE3AJF, are you with us?
Roger, Mac, I'm here. I transmitted before, but I forgot that I was experimenting with the radio earlier today, and I was only putting out 2 watts. Obviously, it didn't give me 2 watts.
Well, I guess not. But now that you get the power turned back up, you're back up to an S9 peak. Good job there. And 2 meters is working good, although it's noisier.
Yeah, I know there's other years about the net too, so it's pretty.
Yeah, for me, it's S5 or slightly above. So there's some crickly, crackly stuff that's going on, but you're sounding mighty fine nonetheless. Anyways, we'll also be popping over to say hello to you guys on the Toronto net and what was that now? 446.025 at 9 o'clock. So very good. Good job, Amnon, and thanks for checking in with us. 2 meters is working real good, and just a reminder that 2 meters is a noisier frequency than 70 centimeters. Okay, who else is with us?
Victor Echo 3, Charlie Echo uniform.
Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu.
All right, we'll take them in that order. Victor Echo 3, Charlie Echo uniform, and then Chuck. Thomas, go ahead. I remembered your call sign this time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, what a difference here. Yeah, this the 2 meters noisy. When you said switch back to the simplex, I thought you were talking about simplex on FM, but I didn't realize this was on the sideband from before, unless it was a different net. But I got you at an S9 here in Burlington back, and I just heard Chuck in there with an S6. It's funny how the signals change.
Absolutely, yep. So 2 meters does have better propagation, but it's noisier. So Us lazy Hamilton guys, we love our 70 centimeters because it's such a quiet band. You're also an S9 across the bay, doing a fine job there as well. Thanks for coming in and playing with us tonight. And yeah, we've started working both 70 centimeters and 2 meters for the sideband net on Sunday night, just to see how things go. Gives us an opportunity and some options. So take your favorite pencil out and scribble these frequencies down on your wall. 446.125 simplex or 146.400 simplex. So that's your go-to spots if for some reason our repeaters fail us. And I don't think it'll happen in the near future. Repeater systems are pretty resilient. So thanks again for jumping in here, and we'll look forward to hearing from you next week. Let's bring in Chuck, VA3CJZ.
All right, very good, Mac. A couple of differences here for me. I'm sorry to say, Amnon AJF does not get any pie. His 2 meter was actually a little lower or more into my noise floor, although I don't have any signal on my noise floor. It's flat. And Amnon was readable, but only partial. Dave and both Dave and Albert are pretty much tied at 25 to 30 over. And you're up there around 25 there, Mac. Good job. Tom, again, also had no signal, and I think the audio was better on 70 centimeters for Tom and me. And then NCF went from just audio, no signal, to 10 over S9 peaking, and good job on Wade there. So a little bit of everything over here. And Mac, I told you your signal, right?
Yes, you did. And Wade is NCA, not NCF.
Oh, right. Oh, I did write down NCF.
No points for you. All right. Well, I guess by this time, all the contesters are tucking in and going into a comatose state after their 48 hours of messing up the bands. Yeah, I kind of chuckled when I heard you say that you got frustrated with all the contesters, and you didn't turn it back on until you saw some call signs that you really wanted to make contact with. But for me, I worked as much as possible on 12 and 17 meters, both yesterday and today. And this afternoon, when I started to get a little frustrated with the noise on 20 meters, one particular gentleman came busting in on top of an operating POTA station right on the same frequency. And I keyed up and said, India Sierra Uniform, this frequency is in use. Please QSY. And he moved 1 kc below. That ignorant SOB, I thought, if I could reach through the radio and strangle you, I would. And that's when I figured, okay, frustration. The best feature on the radio, I remember from the CB days, is the power switch. And I turned the radio off. Anyways, MHV is in there as well. Thank you very much for checking in with us on YouTube. Yep. Quick reminder, we are streaming, so be careful what you say. Everybody can hear you all over the place, and the signal's going out to Mars as well. Back to you, Chuck.
Ah, very good. Yeah. Well, by the way, I heard they did a successful EME from off of Jupiter. So they successfully bounced a signal off of Jupiter. And I got to read up more about it, but that's just recent there. So very good. And well, congratulations there on working your parts. But there's always going to be those
hosting the net tomorrow night at 7 o'clock on the ZOE repeater for the Monday night accidental net. That's on 443.075 131. Oh, you don't need the tone. It's no tone required, just the positive offset. Thanks again, Mac, and I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, very good. And Wade beat me to the punch. So it's not an EME, it's an EJE. Echo Juliet Echo, because it's not a moon bounce, it's a Jupiter bounce. One last, oh, there you go. Rolling on the floor. Laughing my ass off. Roger. Okay. Did anybody else follow us from 70 centimeters? Victor Alpha 3, India Mike Whiskey, standing by. Amnon, come on in with your recheck. Go ahead.
I didn't keep too close the tab on the signal strength, but the only stations that I didn't hear was Wade and Thomas. And your signal came out from an S5 to an S9. And I don't know if it's, YouTube seems to be stalled. It's not that endless circle going around. So I don't know if it's with my end or your end or YouTube. Back to you, Matt.
Well, I'm not seeing any indications that it's here. YouTube is indicating that I'm still streaming, so perhaps a little bit of a lag on the Toronto side. Anyways, thanks for that. You heard Wade. That's awesome. And yeah, these situations are good. Wade says all these worlds are yours except Europa, attempting no landing there. Okay, there we go. Yeah, interstellar communications on HF. All right. Anybody else that wants to come back in with some signal reports or rechecks, feel free. Victor Alpha 3, India Mike Whiskey, standing by. All right. Well, there we go. A lot of crickling and crackling going on. So with that, let's just turn this frequency back to normal amateur use. Thank you all very much for checking in with us tonight. A little bit of fun on sideband on UHF and VHF. We'll be back here next Sunday night. Don't forget to support our local nets throughout the week. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, the Lake Ontario Radio Club net on the ZOE repeater. On Thursday, it is in Simplex 446.125. Of course, Monday evening is also where the Hamilton Amateur Radio Club operates their check-in net on 70 centimeters and 2 meters through their NCF repeaters at 7 p.m. And then they have a 40-meter HF net that starts at 8 o'clock. Wednesday evening is 7:30 Burlington Amateur Radio Club net. And then at 8 o'clock, we settle in for a cruise with VA3CJZ and the Amateur Radio Exchange Group. And then wrapping up the week, Friday night with Larry, VE3LBI, with the ZOE Rag Chew starting at 8 p.m. All right, with that, we'll turn this frequency back to normal amateur use, however they use it when we're not here. And thank you once again for all your check-ins. Isn't that amazing? 70 centimeters, not such good for signal propagation, but the noise floor on 70 centimeters is so much lower, even though you get a better signal propagation on 2 meters. It's a little noisier. Pick your poison. Simplex is golden, and sideband is the most efficient way of making that signal operate to its best efficiency. Thanks again, Guy. I'm sorry. And we'll catch you all down the log. Ending the stream, look for us tomorrow night as well. Just look up my call sign, VA3IMW. Click the live button. Don't forget to like and subscribe.